Manifestors, it is Olivia Grace, and I am back with another video for you guys. And in this video, we're going to be talking about manifesting your wildest desires when you don't believe. This, I feel like I know, will be extremely helpful to you guys because, of course, you don't have to start out believing something to manifest it. Obviously, if you're manifesting it, it's probably something that you don't believe. But a lot of times, this can basically create a state that makes you feel like it's impossible for me, right? And I'm going to be explaining this and assisting you guys in understanding that even in the midst of it feeling impossible, it still is possible for you, okay? It still is possible. And it's not even a hindrance that you feel that way, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. Before I get started, I am Olivia Grace. This is the Master Manifestors channel. Here, I am assisting you in recognizing your God self through the realization of your greatest desires. I do have coaching available. We are starting in just a few days, a week, a little over a week for both programs. And a little announcement, you guys. So Blissful Effortless Life was on a sale, a flash sale, and the pricing wasn't updated in the stand store. Like there must have been a glitch because I updated it. And even when I went to update it again, it didn't update. Like I had to do it a few times to get it to update. And someone just brought this to my attention. So I'm going to extend the flash sale because it wasn't really available on all the platforms. I'm going to extend it for another few days. So it is still on the flash sale. If you guys are interested, there's a little bit more details on the description. And if you want more details, then you can email me at mastermanifestors333@gmail, okay? All right, guys, let's get into the live. I don't usually go on live at this time, but I see all my bays are here. Hi, Janelle. Hi, Brown Bunny. Hi, Abria. Hi, Summer. Hi, JDS. Thank you. Hi, Romy. Hi, Sierra. Hi, Winfea. Hi, Kyra. Hi, Inez. Hi, Ammo. Ammo says, Liv, my SP is flirting with me way too much, just like I affirmed. Help. I can't. I love that. Hi, Nitri. Hi, Celestial. Hi, Sources Truth. Oh my gosh. All the bays. All right, y'all, let's get into the video, okay? Hi, Shannon. Hi, Ocean. All right, so manifesting your wildest dreams when you don't believe. Understand, you guys, that, how do I want to frame this? Whatever state you're in, whatever self-concept you're in, right? Whatever it is that you're currently thinking about yourself is what is making what's possible appear to you, okay? Let me see if I can clarify that. So for instance, let's take something we can all resonate. At one point in your life, unless you were raised by manifestors, at one point in your life, you did not believe that it was possible to affect your reality at all. Therefore, reality appeared that way. If you talk to a muggle, right, or one of your friends or one of whoever, and you were to tell them, hey, you know you can manifest this, you know you can change this, you know you can do this or that, they're probably going to look at you like you're crazy, right? They're probably going to be like, dude, that's wild. You can't affect this, right? And so even though that's not fundamentally true, because that's the belief and self-concept that those people and previously us came from, life appeared that way, okay? So then when we started to, like when you started to learn about manifestation, reality creation, all of this stuff, right? When you started to learn about all of that, then all of a sudden you were seeing how, wow, wait, I thought of this person. They called me. Wait, I hoped that work would get canceled. It got canceled, right? You started to become aware of the synchronicities or become aware of how your mind is being reflected in reality. Now, we know that it's been being reflected, point blank period. It's been being reflected from the beginning of time, okay? But you are just now becoming aware of that, right? You're just now becoming aware of that. And so now it's becoming a reality in your reality. But Just because it just became a reality in your reality doesn't mean it wasn't a reality in your reality, okay? This is fundamental to understand, you guys, all right? So now let's bring this back to whatever this thing is, right, that you feel like is outrageous. It's, oh my God, so big and whatever, right? You are feeling like that because that is your current state of mind, and that's it. It's not because it's impossible. It's not because it's not available to you. It's because the state that you're practiced in and dominantly in is most likely not the state or the identity or the self-concept or the belief or the assumption or whatever the fuck you want to call it that is in line with what you want to experience, right? So what we're doing, and this is where techniques come in, because if I find myself struggling, or if I find myself manifesting something that I feel like I have a lot of resistance to, and let me explain what I mean by that, okay? When I say something you have a lot of resistance to, most times this is something that you have had a dominantly opposite story for most of your life. You may even also have it's not even that you may have a dominant story. Like, okay, it can be either two things. You've had something be a certain way for your whole entire life, or for a very extended amount of time, for as long as you can remember. You don't really have any evidence. There we go. You don't really have any evidence in your own life or in others' lives, or it's just something that you go back and forth with. That's one side of resistance. The other side of resistance can be where you have just somewhere along the line decided that this is hard for me, okay? This is hard for me. So if you're believing and deciding that this is hard for you, of course, that's your assumption, that's your belief. It's going to unfold and confirm to you that it's hard for you. Even you might, because some of you here, I know, have thought, man, it used to be easy for me to manifest this, or this used to be kind of easier for me, or I used to be able to do this thing a lot easier than I can now. And now I can't, right? But you might think that whatever the case, whatever the circumstance, oh, it's because I'm older. Oh, it's because of whatever. But no, it's literally because you've decided that it's harder for you. That's it. So decide that it's easy for you, right? If that's the case. But when it's something that you have a lot of, like, basically a dominant story, you've believed this about yourself your whole life. Let's take something like, I spoke about this on another live where someone changed their eye color, right? From brown to blue. It may take you some persisting in that story of brown to blue, right? If you have known that your eyes are brown your whole life and you're manifesting them to be blue, right? It may not be enough for you to say, my eyes are blue, and then you wake up with blue eyes. Not to say that that's impossible, but some people will take something like that. I'm changing my eyes from brown to blue, or I'm manifesting millions of dollars when I've always been broke, or I'm manifesting the love of my life and I've always been alone. And I've been doing this for a couple days or a couple weeks and nothing's happened. So I'm just going to go back to my old story, right? One of the most important things that I've heard when it comes to persisting is it doesn't matter, right? Whether it doesn't matter if it's working or not. Either you're persisting in the old story or you're persisting in the new story. Okay? That's it. Either it's no reason to look and say, well, what's going on? Is it working? That determines whether I persist or not, right? That's another flaw. Oh, I'm checking for evidence in my 3D to see if I should still be persisting. Of course you should be persisting, right? And this is what I realized for me. I want to walk you guys through this because I've been really paying attention to myself and rewriting stories of difficulty and struggle and things like this. But I was really watching myself switch something from difficult to easy for me, right? And I noticed when anything is difficult to me, I'm feeling trapped in that story. I'm feeling like, oh man, I've tried this so many times, it doesn't work. Or, oh, a lot of times there's a big price to pay, right? If you don't manifest the thing. This is when things are connected to our self-worth, right? Once again, with the self-concept. This is why self-concept work is important, because when you, let's take one of those examples again, like being with the love of your life, being treated like a princess when you've always been alone. If your self-concept is I'm unlikable, I'm unwanted, and you're trying to persist in I'm in this beautiful, amazing relationship, and that relationship is not manifesting, right? It's reconfirming your self-concept to you. And then it's further like deepening you into your story. But when you actually create the self-concept without the person, that no matter what, right? I am wanted. I am desirable. You're not waiting for a text so long. You see what I'm saying? You're not holding your breath for a text or holding your breath for acknowledgement, because you know that you're already acknowledged. You know that you're already enough. You know that you're already perfect, whole, complete, right? You know that you're already loved. And so it's actually easier to persist when you're already in the self-concept, when you're already in the identity of, or when you're at least giving attention to your identity, rather than I'm waiting on this thing to happen to give me an identity, right? So that's that. When you're more solidified in your self-concept, it's easier. But even when you're not, you guys, right? Because again, let's take, like I said, someone who has always been broke manifesting to be a millionaire. Guess what, y'all? I know people don't like to say real shit, right? But I'm going to say real shit, okay? The real shit about it is that if you've been broke your whole life and you're manifesting millions of dollars, then you may not wake up to a deposit from no one you ever known of $1 million in your bank account. You may wake up, the moment that you make the assumption, you may have some opposition, you guys. And the reason why I point this out, y'all, is so that you guys persist. So many people are so bent on saying there is no opposite story. There is no anything, there is no resistance, right? There is no anything like that. And when they're saying that, then people who are experiencing that are like, then what the fuck is this? Right? Then what am I going through? And so it's really understanding something to be able to transcend it. But it's understanding that whether you're in resistance or not, if you persist, you will change, you will shift, right? If you persist, you will shift. That rhymes. If you persist, you will shift. So let me go back to what I was saying, right? So I was like, when I noticed the process within myself where I'm having this resistance, right? The first step of the process is when I make that assumption and then I'm realizing how that seems difficult to me, or how that seems much harder, or I won't even say harder. It just seems far from my current experience, right? Like for instance, like I said, the person changing their eye color from brown to blue, that's it's not like brown to hazel. Oh, when the light hits my eye, like that's something that literally has to be a very obvious physical change, right? So the moment that you as a person with brown eyes decides, I'm going to assume I have blue, what usually happens is the logic, right? The conscious mind. The conscious mind comes in and says all the reasons why that can't happen, right? Oh no, girl, that's not logical. That doesn't make sense. That's never happened to you, right? You've never seen that happen. That only happens to some people, or that's never happened to anyone at all, right? The conscious mind comes in with its explanations and its logic, and here's why that won't work, and yada, yada, yada. Once again, you guys, if someone is saying, oh, there's no such thing as resistance, and someone is having this, then they're going to be like, oh, well, then obviously I just can't do this. It's not available to me. I don't know how to do this. I'm doing it wrong. No, it's natural, you guys. And here's the truth is that, yes, you can come to the point where you don't have resistance. You can come to the point where you don't have where you are this master manifester, that you think it and it happens. But one of the best things that makes you a master manifester, you guys, is actually manifesting things. And so if you are a beginner manifester and all the advanced manifestors are telling you everything that you're doing is wrong, everything that you're experiencing is wrong, and you're obviously not getting it, then how the fuck are you ever going to actually get the thing? This is why people are like fucked up in the game, because they don't think they have to persist, right? They don't think they have to persist because they're listening to someone who has been manifesting for years and years and years, who has manifested many, many things, right? Who has gotten themselves to the point to where they can collapse time and space, right? And they can manifest instantly. And they're looking at you who learned it maybe a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, and saying to you, oh, look at you and your process. That's wrong. That's stupid. That's this. No. Do whatever the fuck you gotta do to get your thing, okay? Everybody, including the people that talk shit, started not understanding this shit, okay? So started probably doing processes, probably doing whatever thing that they had to do, okay? So you're not wrong for that, but this is where I hear people who don't really have a grasp on the law of assumption tell me, I've been doing this for a couple weeks and it's not working for me. I must be doing something wrong, right? No, persist. So let me get back to what I'm saying. So when I'm actually in, like, at first it's the opposition, right? Now, I see the opposition. I'm like, okay, like it's telling me all these reasons, but beyond the opposition, beyond everything that I'm knowing, right? Everything that I'm hearing and knowing that's so logical, I know that I'm creating, period. I'm creating, all right? So once again, if I have a pink car and I want to paint it red and I'm looking and I'm like, ooh, I want to paint this car red. And then, but my mind is like, but it's so pink. It's so pink. Look how hot pink it is. Look how gorgeous it is. Look how whatever it is. It could never be red. No, nigga, just paint it. Like, actually, if you paint it, it will be red. You might actually paint it. You might spend the whole day on the front side and the other side still be pink. But if you continue to paint it, it will be red, y'all. Okay? This is reality. So that's the second stage for me. The first is I make the assumption. And if I have the opposition pops up, oh, you can't, no, whatever. I'm hearing that. I'm like, all right, cool. But I do know fundamentally that what I persist in will be, period. And so I continue to persist. Now, guess what? I don't just say, oh, wow, what I persist in will be, and never have another opposing thought. Okay? It's not that just, oh, wow, fixes it. Sometimes it does, y'all. But just being absolutely fucking real with y'all, sometimes it doesn't. And that's okay, y'all. Listen, I want to point this out really quick, you guys. Here's why I'm saying this. Because y'all, when I first started manifesting, or even years, like even whatever, at any point in my manifestational journey, if I was not going to persist, y'all, I would not have shit, okay? I'm sorry. And yes, there are a lot of people that learn it and they're good and they manifest and they get it and whatever, but that's not always the case for everybody. It doesn't mean that it can't be the case for you, right? But part of that being the case is understanding that what I say happens, right? What I say happens. But even more, here's the kicker about this, y'all, right? I guarantee you everybody here knows that. Everybody here conceptually, on a mental level, knows what I say happens. And I guarantee you everybody here at some point still fixes their mouth to say bullshit, right? Even I sometimes, but I'm getting better and better at watching what I say, y'all. Watching what I assume, what I believe, what I come into agreement with, okay? Just because it's true, all right? So this is what I'm saying, y'all. You can know it conceptually. You can know it mentally. But if you're saying, yeah, I know my mind creates, I know my words create, I know my beliefs and assumptions create, but I'm broke. I don't have any money. Oh, nobody likes me. SP's not talking to me. Nothing's working for me. Then do you really? Like, it's like saying, I know if I put my hand on the hot stove, it's gonna burn me. But some people still gotta put their hand on the hot stove and get burned. They gotta see the evidence, right? This is what you're doing with manifestation. Because sometimes it's not enough to understand it conceptually. You need to see that work. You need to see it work, y'all. And if it's day one in the land of magic for you, if it's it don't even matter. If you haven't manifested anything in your life, you haven't seen proof other than people's experiences on the internet, then why would you persist, right? The reason it's so easy for me to persist, no matter how difficult or outrageous or out of this world, whatever it is that I'm doing seems, the reasons it's easy for me to persist is because I understand fundamentally that this reality is nothing but my imagination. Nothing. Okay? Nothing, this reality is nothing but what I say, what I think, what I assume. So if I'm seeing something in opposition to that, that's obviously reflecting what I have been believing and assuming. That's it. It's not a hindrance. It's not a shackle. Just because it seems impossible to me. Y'all know how many things I've manifested that seemed impossible to me? Y'all, even just being on this phone right now, for those of us that are above the ages of 25, 30, at some point, this was impossible, y'all. I come from the time of nighttime minutes. I got my first cell phone in high school, okay? There was no pocket internet. There was no FaceTime or lives or any of this shit. But was it impossible? No, it wasn't impossible. It just wasn't thought of yet, right? It wasn't realized yet. The idea wasn't realized yet. And then it became realized, right? And then it was, and then it's here. This is the same thing with your desire, you guys, okay? So stop taking the feeling of, ooh, I don't believe this. This seems outrageous. I can't do this. Even if it's something that you've been trying for years, y'all, listen, okay? Even if it's something that you've been trying for years, keep going, okay? If it means that much to you, right? Not the time of beepers. I came from the time of beepers too. I was a baby, a little kid, but I was still in the beeper time. But if it means that much to you, you guys, persist. For a long time of me having this channel, I was talking to like a few hundred people, okay? And many times during that, I wanted to give up, you guys. I didn't get to this year and say, damn, I'm disappointed because it didn't happen sooner. No, I was elated. I was grateful. I was happy. Okay. If it means that much to you, stop letting people discourage you. Stop letting, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know how I be. But stop letting snooty, root to toot people tell you, oh, you didn't manifest it in 3 days. Up, you're a piece of shit. You can't have it. You don't know what you're doing. You're this. No, just allow yourself to become better. That's really it, y'all. Like I literally realized one day in the midst of my resistance, right? In the midst of my story telling me, no, that can't happen. That's not real. Girl, you tripping. And I realized I'm going to be real with y'all. Vulnerable share. I almost gave into it. Okay. I almost oh yeah, maybe that's crazy. Maybe that's crazy. Right? And maybe I should go back to my previous assumption. That kind of shit, right? And then I was like, but wait, what if this is just me becoming into my higher self? Because what if this is just a process of me deciding to be that higher self, y'all? Right? When somebody, like, think about someone who's an actress, right? And they're maybe like a D-list actress. And they decide, I want to be an A-list actress, right? They might have all their opposition. There's no way. I can't break in. There's too many known faces. Everybody always, casts the same people. But you can also decide, no, like, I can decide to show up as an A-lister. I can decide now to embody my A-lister self. And you might not wake up the next day feeling like, damn, it's paparazzi outside my window, right? But you can persist and ascend through the levels, right? Persist in your new story, you guys. Continue telling your new story. That's the point of what I'm saying. Continue telling your new story, y'all. Continue practicing it, because that's it, y'all. Let me tell you. Like, really, all that manifesting is your attention. Your attention on an idea of yourself or something, right? Your attention of that idea and attention on that thing creates your world. And so if you are putting your attention on something new, right? That you've never put your attention on for, or you haven't put your attention on that for a very long time, right? And you're just now putting your attention on it and you're like, why isn't my brain accepting it instantly? Give yourself a chance, right? Give yourself a chance. Continue to persist in it. Continue to tell that story. Continue to decide, and decide again, right? A lot of times when I say deciding, some people take that as I say, oh, it's like this now, and that's it, right? Sometimes it is like that. Sometimes it's quick like that, right? But sometimes it's not. And I don't decide and then wake up and say, oh, didn't happen. It's impossible. Oh, I guess I'm just stupid. No, I'm just going to decide again. Now, let me get back to what I'm talking about as far as like how this process unfolds in me. So first, I make the assumption, the conscious thoughts, the opposition comes up. I'm seeing that. I'm like, okay, but I'm knowing whatever I persist in is what it's going to be. So then I continue to persist, right? I continue to tell myself the new story. I continue to identify myself different, right? I continue to expect differently, right? Expect things to unfold in your new story and in accordance with your new story, in harmony with your new story, right? If you're expecting and saying, I always get princess treatment, stop expecting, oh, that person that's mean to me is always going to be mean to me. They're going to be mean to me again today. No, you switched realities now. You're not in the reality where anybody's mean to you. You get princess treatment from all. So I start to persist or I continue to persist. And what I notice, you guys, it's like almost like a phasing out. Sometimes it happens where I wake up the next day and I don't have any resistance anymore. Or sometimes it just quiets, like lower and lower and lower. That voice of no, impossible, that can't, I don't know, it just gets quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter until it's silent. And guess what? All of a sudden, all that shit that sounded so crazy and impossible to me sounds real possible. It sounds like it's done. It sounds actually easy, y'all, right? It sounds easy. It sounds like, of course that would happen. Because now I've allowed myself to shift into the identity to the person that's normal for, right? And y'all know, I haven't said this in a while, so I'm gonna say it again. Your first evidence of your manifestation is the internal shift. So once I feel that, once I'm like, damn, my mind is not opposing this like at all anymore. This is my dominant story, as they would say in the law of assumption speak, right? This is now my dominant story. I don't have to worry anymore, right? I don't have to worry anymore. This is my dominant story. So I know that since it's my dominant story and my dominant story is what's manifesting, I can expect it to manifest, period. And guess what? It works every single time, y'all. It works every single time. Okay? So, yeah, persist. Okay? Yeah, keep going. Yeah, keep suggesting it to yourself. Don't get discouraged just because it's hard, right? Think about when you were a kid or when you first started driving, right? When I first started driving, I was not a good driver, y'all. I was scared and nervous and terrified of everything. I wouldn't even drive on the highway. Y'all, I'm a dope ass driver now, right? But if I got to the point when I first started driving, and some people literally do this, especially in Atlanta, and they like, it's too scary, it's too hard, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not driving. I'm not getting on 285, right? I don't drive on highways. And they just stay there, right? Like, hear me, you guys. The part of you that's like, I couldn't do that. I can't have that. I couldn't, that's out of my reach, right? That's coming from the old self, right? It's difficult to drive on the freeway for 19-year-old Olivia who hasn't driven many cars or driven a lot. For Olivia now, it's nothing. But there was time in between that of me continuing to drive in the fear, right? Continuing to persist in the face of the opposite story. Continue telling the story. Continue until it hardens into fact. Okay? All right. I feel like that makes sense. I'm knowing that makes sense. I'm intending that makes sense. I'm intending that it prospers you all immensely. I'm going to read your comments. Blissful Effortless Life, the 3-month group program is still on the flash sale, you guys. I'm extending it, okay? Because the price wasn't reflecting in the stand store. And I didn't know till today. Okay. Let me read y'all's comments really quick. Let's see. Summer is so sweet. Thank you, mods. Okay, so this is interesting. I am manifesting love, and lately I've been seeing potential contenders drop off in some form or another, but one person has remained consistent. I've also been seeing one person's name and things related to them, such as their favorite foods, along with things about marriage and children. Yes. And hello to everyone that I haven't said hello to. Yeah, I was thinking about how similar the word persistence is to the word resistance, and it's a shift. That's interesting, actually. Yeah. Okay. Alicia, coaching is, there's no deadline. Well, until they start, but it's still open. So just email me. Okay. Yes. Nima says, you helped me manifest $10,000 instantly. Thank you for your work. Dope as fuck, Nima. Congratulations. What if I keep a clean mental diet and persist in what I want, but people I know, like family and friends, are all logical and negative? It can really kill the vibe. Okay, good question. First of all, my advice, you guys, is to not share what you're manifesting with muggles. It's just no point, y'all. Like think about this, okay? Since I mentioned muggles, think about Harry Potter, okay? If Harry Potter is doing a spell, right? And he's trying to perfect the spell or whatever, and he goes to consult his aunt and uncle, like, what do you think they're gonna tell him, right? Oh, Harry, just put your mind to it. No, they're gonna be like, you're stupid. Like, that's stupid. It's not gonna work, okay? And it's not that, obviously people that love us and care about us, our family and friends, they're not trying to be downers. They're really trying to help. They're like, oh, let me prepare you for failure. Like like I do for myself so that you don't get disappointed, right? But Neville even says it in his book too. Don't talk to people about it. Unless it's someone who you 100% know is on the same shit that you're on, it's no point in talking to people about it. It's lit to, in my opinion, there's no point. Because what they're going to tell you is going to be reflecting whatever state that you're currently in. And if they're in a place where they can kill your vibe, or you're in a place where they can kill your vibe, you're still teeter-tottering, right? Because somebody could come on here and say, this is all stupid. You're a stupid girl. You don't know what you're talking about. There's no such thing as manifestation. That's not going to kill my vibe, because I know that I'm just on a different level of consciousness than them. You know what I mean? But if I was just learning about manifestation and I felt like I don't really know, and they say that, then I'd be like, is it stupid? Am I crazy? I need to go get mentally assessed. So here's what I recommend when it comes to family and friends, guys. Manifest. Change your life. Be your biggest success story. Trust me, they'll ask you. You don't need to go profess everybody the good news of, create your reality, create your reality. Because a lot of people, they're literally not on the consciousness to receive that information. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not that they're trying to not listen to you or not hear you. They're just not in the state to literally understand what you're saying, like what you're talking about. So to them, it sounds like mumbo jumbo. It sounds like, I don't know, schizophrenia. It sounds like you need to be medicated. And those are just things that you just don't need while you're trying to form this new belief, okay? So persist here. Don't worry about what anybody else is saying. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm sorry. That's the gosh darn truth, okay? If a fourth grader is trying to talk with a quantum physicist about science and telling him that his formulas don't make sense, I mean, the quantum physicist is not going to be like, damn, yeah, I should listen to you. Like, no, bruh. How do I feel about the 369 method? I actually think the 369 method is a good method for people who have trouble focusing. That's something that I myself am working on, is being a better focuser. Like, I don't want to assume this, but I've been noticing that some of the qualities that people associate with people who have ADHD, I have a lot of those qualities. And I'm just now noticing that But one of the things is obviously like being able to focus for a long period of time. And so things like scripting, things like setting time aside, right, to focus is a good idea. Whether that's the 369 scripting, affirming, whatever it is, taking the time, because some people can just live life and they can be affirming up here, right? But for some people, if your mind is all over the place, like someone I know, then it does benefit you to have a certain time to sit down and focus on what you want, okay? Yesterday, I thought about getting pizza, and today I went to my friend's house and she offered me pizza. It was only 2 slices left. I didn't even realize that I wanted pizza yesterday. I love that. I manifested pink balloons. I love that. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to ignore random narrators who try to tell your own story, especially if it's the old one. So you guys, here's something about this, is that no body and no thing, and this is a practice, okay? No body and no thing, number one, has any supremacy to you. Number two, has any control over what you receive or don't receive. And number three, really shouldn't have no input or influence on what you're deciding, right? And like I said, y'all, this is a practice because we're literally taught and raised the complete opposite way from birth, okay? Literally as a baby, are you good or are you bad? You don't think about that. You don't decide that. Your parents decide that. When you go to school, are you smart? Are you dumb? You don't decide that. Your teacher decides that. The test decides that. When you go to work, are you successful or are you unsuccessful? You don't decide that. Your boss or your occupation. This is how we're taught, y'all. Listen to how easy it is, right? Because people be like, oh, they're putting chemtrails in the sky to kill us. And you know, they're doing all these things. And I'm like, y'all, listen, think about what we know. The government doesn't need to physically harm you. They literally put the idea that you're harmed in some way, whether that's illness or disaster or this or that. They put the idea of harm in your mind and you manifest your own harm. Okay? It benefits them so much to have you dependent on outside stimuli, dependent on what somebody else has to say about you. Okay? This is why everybody's so addicted to the 3D, right? Oh, but look what it is. This car could never be red, it's pink. So, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. And this is something, like I said, it's a practice to stop letting outside stimuli, even yourself, you guys. There's sometimes when I feel unattractive or I'm feeling like, damn, I'm not looking too good, right? I'm going to decide that I am. Even if it's my own eyes telling me something that I don't want to hear, I'm going to retell myself something I want to hear, okay? I'm not even going to let the mirror tell me what I am or who I am. I'm going to decide, all right? So listen, y'all, like this is going to make you such an amazing manifester when you are able to deny the senses, as Neville puts it, deny the senses. Speaking of that, I wanted to read you guys a short excerpt out of how to use your healing power. This is Joseph Murphy, you guys, and it is one of the best, other than Neville. This is like the best book I've ever read on manifestation, okay? It's specifically talking about healing your body, but you can use it. You can use it for anything, for manifesting anything. The way that he explains it, okay, I'm going to read this to you guys. I know this is like really random, and then I'm going to get back to the questions. But y'all, just tune into this shit, okay? All right, he's starting with a passage from the Bible. It says, after this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, there is at Jerusalem, by the sheep market, a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whoever then first, after the troubling of the water, stepped in, was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. And a certain man was there, which had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lie and knew that he had been now a long time in that case, he saith to him, wilt thou be made whole? The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man, when the water is troubled, to put me into the pool. But while I am coming, another steppeth down before me. Jesus saith to him, rise up, take thy bed, and walk. Okay? So he says, this is Joseph Murphy's explanation of that. He says, mankind is at the pool. The pool is consciousness. And all of us are living with our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, opinions, and mental images. Some of these states are blind, halt, withered, and lame. Furthermore, man is full of dreams, hopes, and aspirations, which have never seen the light of day. Thousands are frustrated, unhappy, and sick because they have failed to realize their dreams, ideals, plans, and purposes. Those dead hopes and dreams symbolize the impotent folk, blind, halted, withered, waiting for the movement of the water. Are you waiting for something to happen? Don't sit around waiting for God to do something. You must begin. And when you begin, omnipotence begins to move on your behalf. God has provided you with everything. He has given you his self. Therefore, all his powers, qualities, and attributes are within you, waiting for you to call them forth and use them to grow. Expand, unfold, and multiply your good 1,000-fold. The initiative is within you. The God presence within is now governing all your vital organs, regulating your heartbeat and general circulation. The earth, the stars, the sun, and the moon, and the whole world is here for you to enjoy. But if you want to transcend your present concept of yourself, you must take the necessary steps. He goes on to explain even more of that, but I'm not going to read that because we'll be here all night. But how to use your healing power, you guys. It's in my description. I have a link with all the books that I recommend, like the most transforming books. But it's so good. One day soon, y'all, I'm gonna come and do a full like chapter reading and of this because it's really good. Okay. Okay, Satangi says, yeah, every time I manifest something, it seems like a coincidence and I can't believe that I created it. This is why it's so important to intentionally create, you guys. Because to be real, y'all, let me tell y'all something real and vulnerable again, okay? The year 2022, I went through like a dark night of the soul, right? I was like spiritually depressed. It was not fun, right? And in that time, this was probably when I was in my lowest as far as really doubting all of this shit. Doubting, even though I had studied this at that point for like 8 years, manifested plenty of things, I was at that point doubting. Even after that, y'all, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. But the one thing that allowed me to really persist and pull myself out of that, y'all, was all the evidence. I have so much evidence of manifestation in my life, evidence that cannot be explained other than manifestation. I see things reflect from my mind to reality instantly every single day, you guys. Every single day. Things that really couldn't be. For instance, let me give y'all a couple examples. Me and my SP last night, we're watching a show. In the show, they have like an attic, like they're going up in an attic and the attic like falls or something in there falls in the show. At the same time, y'all, they're doing construction on my apartment building and they have like the little attic open. We hear a large crash, right? And we're like, what the fuck was that? He goes to check, the attic fell because it was like wet and rainy and I don't know, like, but the drywall fell and collapsed at the same time that it happened in the show, y'all. How is that? Another instance, there's a brand called Stackwell. I don't know if you guys remember, they went out of business, but they make cookies. And I was looking into the brand because I don't see it anymore. They got discontinued. I haven't seen this in years because it's discontinued. I'm watching the show again. What are the girls eating? Snackwell cookies. Okay? Like this was the same day. Things like that happen all day, every day to me. Okay? I think it, I see it. I think it, I see it. So when you get to that point, you don't question it. At that point, you guys, there's never a time that I'm like, ooh, does manifestation really work? Is this something that I can manifest? I know that I can manifest it. It's just a matter of, am I able to continue to persist in that idea of myself, in the new idea of myself? Somebody's alarm is going off. So like just a little like piece of advice for you guys. Manifest daily, y'all. You should be manifesting daily. You should be practicing daily. Okay? You like that, because it's not hard, y'all. It's simple. And the more that you consciously, on purpose, not like, oh, I thought of that person, they called me. Of course you're gonna think it's a coincidence. But no, something that you don't expect to see, right? A statue of a chef mixing something in a mixing bowl. I don't know. You don't expect to see it. You put your mind on it and then you see it. And when you do that time and time and time and time and time and time, thousands, hundreds of thousands of times over, y'all, you're not going to doubt, oh, can I do this or not? But practice makes perfect, okay? Practice makes perfect. All right. Not now I have the car on 2 wheels. Free your mind. You better be safe. Someone said, as someone who lives in Metro Atlanta, I hated driving there until my manifestation meant me getting over it. I'll still go the back way sometimes. I could tell you guys the first time, I could tell y'all a story about the first time I drove on the highway. It was an accident. And I'll tell you guys because it's going to be funny. But basically, this was like when I was like fresh. I was like 21. I had a boy come over. Oh, somebody was calling me. Oh, shit. Hold on. Oh, it's my SP. I hope he doesn't call back. Okay, I'm just going to skip the story. I'll tell you guys about it another time. Okay. Wait, where am I at? Oh, AW, you're wonderful. You're dope, Ocean Latina. I love you guys. Y'all are the best ever. Let me prepare you for what I know life to be. Y'all, listen, just a quick thing. If you would not trade places with somebody in the area that they're trying to give you advice in, don't listen to them. Okay? Okay. Y'all are funny. Speaking of Jesus, do you pray? If you do, how do you pray? I never related to the type of praying when you're begging to the Most High. Okay. Do I pray? I've had times when I pray, and when I would pray, I would usually pray like in gratitude for things. And then when I would pray, you guys, to be honest, I would be praying more for like God to fill me up with light, and like to cleanse my energy and cleanse my aura and things like that. Like that was kind of the type of prayer. Because obviously as a manifestor, it doesn't really do you good to beg for anything. But yeah, I feel like when I'm high into my spirituality, I do pray and commune with God, but I get what you mean, Inez. And I feel like feel that out. Like see what's the best for you. Hi, Olivia. I'm manifesting a lottery win. Do you believe it's best to imagine the win or what I would do with the money? Imagine what you would do with the money. Because it's actually so much easier. And you can imagine the win if you want to. You can do either. But I suggest doing what you would do with the money because it's much easier for you to feel natural in like, let's say going on a shopping spree, right? Or it's much easier, even probable to your mind, for you to go shopping, for you to buy a beautiful house, a beautiful car, amazing trip, than for you to be the one out of billions of people that wins the lottery, right? And it's not to say that you can't, y'all. I mean, a lot of lottery winners manifested it, right? Literally say they manifested it. But I think that go with what feels better to you, new millionaire. I love your name, by the way. Natoya says, it's amazing how we can have the answer in front of us and still argue for our limitations. Girly, listen, it's like Jesus said, they know not what they do. Because y'all, even for me, as I think back to my previous way of manifesting and even teaching and everything, it's like, why? But it's okay, right? It's okay. Just But like I said, one of the biggest realizations and understandings was it really doesn't benefit you to tell your old story. It doesn't even benefit you to try and dissect it and figure it out. Just tell your new story. I reacted to 3D. I love you, Kyra. I reacted to 3D and told SP to F off when he didn't show up right. But I did go back to the end and gave it good meaning. I'm just a little bit worried that I went back to square one. Ain't no square one because there's nothing linear. So always assume, I don't care what you did, always assume it's working in your favor. You did right in that all-star. Just persist in that. You ain't going back to square one. Ain't no square one, y'all. There's no linear time. You have to do this, then you have to do that, and then you have to do this. There's just this, that, and this existing simultaneously. You don't have to do shit. Okay? Oh, thank you. Healing changes the world. Oh my God. What a beautiful day. What does practicing daily look like? Great. Great question. That looks different for everyone though. It depends on what you like, y'all. That's the thing. Find what you like. If you like affirming, do that. If you like scripting, do that. If you like meditating sats, do that. But I would say in the gist of things, practicing daily is only giving attention to things that you want, basically. Like for instance, this is how I do. I use everything as an opportunity to create. For instance, when I was in Florida, y'all, I don't know if some of y'all probably live in Florida, but Florida by far has the worst drivers I've ever seen. Atlanta has a lot of bad drivers because it's kind of a melting pot. It's a lot of people from a lot of different places that stay here. And so they drive like they never passed the driving test. But the people in Florida drive like they didn't pass the driving test and at 120 miles per hour. So us being down there, I don't even like driving down there because of how crazy it is. But I was like, no, I get to decide, right? Because that's something that usually we would just be like, who cares? It doesn't matter that much for us to change something like that. But that's the perfect thing to use to manifest, right? To practice. So I decided like, no, everybody, I'm always on the road with harmonious drivers. I'm always on the road with harmonious drivers. It's always harmony when I'm on the road. And then it wasn't no dumb shit going on, right? So I'm seeing in real time my decision be reflected. My decision be reflected, regardless of years of experience, right? Years of evidence, my new decision is being reflected, okay? My manifestation routine, to be real, y'all, see, this is what I was talking about earlier, where I don't really like, focusing is something that I'm getting better at. But for me, all I do consistently every single day is meditate. For me, like when I'm meditating, it helps me kind of rise in energy, rise in consciousness. And while I'm there, I might like suggest some things to myself, like remind myself, what's the reality that I'm in today? I'm in my dream reality. Everything's perfect. I'm already in my perfect reality. Whatever. I might like talk to myself in that way. That's the only thing I do daily though. What I'm getting better at doing is like, if it's something that like if it's like a self-concept thing that I'm working on within myself, listening to my affirmations, right? For like, and I really encourage you guys to create your own affirmations. It's great to listen to everybody else's too, but creating your own allows you to address the specific thing that's like bothering you. And previously, I used to really constantly drench my mind, and this could be a good thing for beginners. I would constantly listen to podcasts, videos, books, lectures. This is why I know all of this law of assumption stuff the way Neville taught it, because I learned the law of assumption from Neville. I also enhanced my knowledge from a lot of different YouTubers, Redditors, blogs, all kind of stuff. But I learned the law of assumption from the GOAT himself, okay? So drenching yourself, having subliminals playing something, some overnight affirmation, whatever, using whatever time, space, and opportunity you have to impress your mind. Now, I've recently gotten to the point to where I realize I don't have to do that shit, right? But if you are not there yet, if you're still struggling, if your mind is all over the place, right? That's a good way to gauge it, guys. How in line is your mind with what you want? If your mind is not at all in line with what you want, that's good evidence that you want to do some more saturation. You want to do probably a practice or do something daily. If your mind, if you're saying like it's like this and you just ain't no opposition, just let that ride. Okay. Okay. Not tell us later, girl. Thank you, Sierra. I love you. I've been torn between manifesting the lottery and just manifesting a life where money is no object. Just manifest a life where money is no object, you guys. Listen, I'm not saying anything bad against the lottery, right? But I'm gonna be real with y'all. This is just my opinion, okay? This is just my opinion. But to me, there's no point in manifesting the lottery unless that is specifically, you just have a thing for the lottery, right? And there's some people like that. They're like, I don't want the money any other way but the lottery, right? And if that's the case, cool. But if what you want is just the money, and you're saying the only way that it could happen is the lottery, and the lottery is one of the lowest probability things in life, okay? You're just kind of, in my opinion, making it harder for yourself, okay? Like I said, if you just like love the lottery, you think the lottery is so cool, that's something you just want to check off your list is the lottery, do it. But if you just want money, y'all, focus on the money. Because a lot of people focus on the lottery because it's the only way that they think that they can get money. And it's just not true, y'all. It's just not true. You actually have so many other ways that money could come to you way quicker, okay? But you have to be open to that. If your focus is all on the lottery, and I haven't won, so I'm still broke, the person that was like, oh, I was gonna call her and give her this money, nah, I'm gonna call her sister. You know what I mean? Like, you're blocking your blessings when you're like, this is the only way that it can happen. This is the only way that I'm open to. Okay? What technique would you say is best to reprogram self-concept? I've been persisting with affirmations, but feeling neutral, not feeling embodied how I thought I would. Keep going, Lay. I personally, for self-concept, I think that affirmations are the best thing because you can specify. You can specify this new version of yourself. If you're feeling neutral, that means that's good. You're shifting. You're not feeling bad. You're feeling neutral. Keep going. Okay? All right. I love you guys. Okay, I'm going to go because, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go, you guys. So I love you all infinitely. Okay? Oh, Janique, I'm about to go. I'm sorry. But this was a good one. So run that back, y'all. Everybody here should run it back. And we'll watch this again. Happy New Year's Eve. Intending that you all have a dope-ass last day of 2024. I'm going to start the party tonight and get a little lit with my SP. But, yeah. I'll probably be live or post a video tomorrow, too. So, yeah. Email me for coaching, you guys. I love you all infinitely. Check the description. Let me know which program you're interested in, okay? It's okay, Janique. You're going to catch the next one, okay? I love you all infinitely. Sending you all infinite love. And I will see you guys in a video soon.